Tonight on News 5 Live, the 2021 sugarcane crop is temporarily suspended 1 week after being opened. Stakeholders from the sugar industry weigh in on the dilemma. A special committee is put together to oversee policies in the budding hemp industry. The Social Security Board has a new board of directors and an investment committee. And was he killed during an incident on his farm located off the Hydro Dam Road? The search continues for missing elderly man Miguel Caceres. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast. Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, January 5th. I am Marlene Cuellar. Production within the sugar industry has been put on pause. That's because on Monday, stakeholders decided to suspend harvesting and delivery of sugarcane to the BSI factory at Tower Hill. This inevitably pulls the plug on milling for the time being, as the delivery of cane has hit an all-time low due to recent rains in the north. The factory requires approximately 5,000 tons of cane every day to operate efficiently, and farmers have been struggling to make that quota. Close to 1,000 farmers from both the Corozal and Orange Walk districts have been experiencing difficulty harvesting and delivering their crops. Chairman of the Sugar Industry Control Board, Marcos Osorio, has been meeting with stakeholders and says that the quality of the cane is also a factor.
And we have seen as much as 4 inches of rain that was accumulated over 36 to 48 hours. That we had an estimate of about 9,000 tons of cane that was already burnt prior to the rains. So then we started experiencing shortage in supply of cane to the mill because as a result of the rains and the challenge at the field in terms of field conditions. So as a result of that, we have been under constant meetings, consultation with farmers, consultation with leaders, consultation with the mill, to see how best we can manage the situation, the present situation, with the primary objective of ensuring that every farmer that has cane burnt is able to deliver it to the mill. Okay? Mm-hmm. So also as a result of inclement weather, there is a huge impact in terms of cane quality. Yesterday we made a decision in the afternoon that based on the estimates, we foresee that we will need to receive cane at least for another 36 to 48 hours to get all the cane that's already burnt in the field.
According to Osorio, during the first few days of the crop, minimal amounts of cane deliveries were made. He says that roughly 8,000 tons of cane have been burnt and will be delivered to the factory. Milling resumed at 4 o'clock and deliveries should be received up to 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. From there, the liquidation of the boiling house will occur. It is expected that another meeting with industry stakeholders will take place on Thursday to determine the way forward.
So all morning in the first 5 days of the crop, through the early hours of the morning and up to midday, we were seeing almost no supply of cane going to the mill. So as a result, we were meeting to make decisions in terms to ensure that we have enough cane for the mill to keep grinding, because if there's no cane, then the mill has to stop. So yesterday, the decision was we will do our best, farmers will do their best to get all the cane out. The mill will do their part in terms of ensuring to receive all the cane, mill it, and then we also decided, given the field conditions and the amount of rains that we had over the last 48 hours, that it is necessary to suspend the burnings, which will result also in a suspension of the harvest and delivery system. The suspension starts to take, the suspension of delivery. burning of new canes was decided as of yesterday. No more burning from yesterday. Okay. So on Thursday, we estimate that Thursday, Wednesday night, or maybe in the early hours of Thursday, the mill will have a complete shutdown after they have processed all the cane that is delivered. So on Thursday evening, we will at 3 o'clock when we meet, we will decide if we are restarting on Friday or Saturday, whatever the decision be. So that will tell us how many days of complete stop we will have. At the moment, we don't have that decided as yet. It could be as of yesterday of no more burning all the way to Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
The primary factors that have affected the delivery of cane to the factory include the recent weather, deteriorated sugar roads, and low cane quality. For the factory to run efficiently, farmers would have to deliver at least 48,700 tons of cane. In the past 8 days, however, only 34,600 tons of cane has been delivered. Vice President of International Relations for ASR-BSI, Mac McLaughlin, says that during this difficult period, the crop has not been lost, and the shutting down of the mill is not expected to affect the final tally at the end of the crop.
Since we started this crop, for a whole range of different reasons, we've been unable to get to that point. You know, for example, in the first 8 days of the crop, you know, we had that 5,500 ton operational requirement should have been about 44,000 tons of cane, but we only received 34,600 tons of cane. The actual cane requirement that we had called up, which is higher than the operational bottom line, was about 48,700 tons, and again we only received the 34,600. Now there comes a point where that leads to a number of problems. One, the mill has to keep stopping and starting because it just can't handle the low throughput. Second point, again linked to the weather and also linked to the coordination of deliveries. There've been a certain amount of impurities coming in with the cane, increasingly so as it rains, more mud and other things that the mill needs to manage. In addition to just the cane supply. And then, finally, the other issue is that at the end of the process, bagasse is left behind, and that's used to basically keep the boilers burning. And you need to have a kind of ratio of that to manage the crop as you move forward. It's in everyone's interest to have fresh cane with high, sugar content, which equates to higher payment for farmers. So it's in everyone's interest to make this work properly. I think it's important to recognise that cane is not lost. I mean, it just hasn't been ground yet. It will be ground. So, the total volume of cane won't change and the total amount of sugar produced won't change. It's just a matter of how long it takes to do that. And the ones who I think suffer most from that is the mill, because obviously we have to run a mill inefficiently. But to your point, I mean, this isn't a financial loss. I mean, this is at least from a point of cane supply. It just means the crop will perhaps go on a bit longer than it would have done otherwise.
The hemp industry is back in the spotlight tonight, following a cabinet decision on Monday to constitute an interministerial task force to carefully go over the Misuse of Drugs Act. That committee will then make recommendations to amend the existing legislation in order to enable the proper development of the hemp industry. It will also establish a national hemp policy and other systems of monitoring the progress of the budding industry. The committee will draw from expertise in 3 areas, including the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries, as well as the Ministry of Sustainable Development, represented by Ministers Hossein, Karim Musa and Orlando Habet, respectively. Last Tuesday, Minister of New Growth Industries Karim Musa confirmed a partnership with Alex Lavin, Chief Executive Officer of Growth Industries, a cannabis production company in the United States.
Leading the way forward is we're going to have to be very creative, very innovative in coming up with a policy that works for Belize.
No, I'm sure you would be aware that the reason a lot of the hemp investments have stalled is because they cannot source financing, because no bank is prepared to touch financing hemp or much less cannabis growth because of the banking blacklisting that can happen.
Yeah. Well, that is not the actual report that I've been given. The report that I've been given coming out of the Industrial Hemp Committee Board is that, in fact, the type of hemp seeds that were being imported were not conducive to growth in the country, and so they were importing the wrong kind of seeds. And so that is why it's important, whenever you're going into a new industry, that you actually engage with experts in order to determine what is the proper seeds to be grown in Belize. And so that is part of the reason. I haven't heard there being a concern over the capital.
The House of Representatives meets for the first time this Friday since the inaugural opening of the 13th National Assembly on December 11th. The order of business for the initial session will include the introduction of legislation to authorize the Central Bank of Belize to provide for emergency programs and facilities to assist during unusual and necessary economic circumstances. The proposed new law comes on the heels of Prime Minister Briceño's recent announcement that government is in the red amid poor economic performance due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As such, Cabinet has also approved the introduction of a General Revenue Supplementary Appropriations Bill, which will cover urgent and unforeseen expenditure between November 11, 2020, when the People's United Party assumed office, and March 31, 2021, the end of the current fiscal year. A new executive has been named for the Social Security Board, including an investment committee led by Chairman Reynaldo Magana. It's the latest round of appointments to statutory bodies as the Briceño administration continues to take shape. 9 members, including Niheli Sosa as chairperson, are sitting on SSB's board of directors. The other members are Imogen Habet Alcocer, Wendy Castillo, Michael Hyde, Michael Koyi, Lourdes Smith, Marcelo Blake, Lorelli Westby, and Patrick Balan. Joining Magana on the investment committee are Vanessa Briceño, Emil Mena, and Brian Duncan. Coming up, an elderly man is missing from a farm in Cayo, and relatives believe that he may have been harmed. And another man is mistakenly buried as a John Doe. Today, News 5's reporter Dwayne Moody and cameraman Kenroy Michael traveled west to Benque Viejo del Carmen, where as the days go by, the Caceres family is fearing that the worst has happened to 69-year-old Miguel Caceres. It's been 5 days since the elderly man was last seen alive. But was he killed during an incident on his farm located off the Hydro Dam Road? Here's that report.
Where is 69-year-old Miguel Caceres? For the past 3 years, the elderly man lived on a farm about a mile off the Hydro Dam Road in Cayo District. Here is where his grandson joined him in November to toil the land, planting fruits and vegetables and growing chickens and turkeys for sale. But on January 1st, Eric Mazin did not go to work with Caceres, and that's when an unfortunate incident happened.
He hear that one Bali by name Gomez give a report that some Miguelito from mile 5 shoot him with a pellet gun in a belly, yeah. And then so my pa hurry gone the farm and check the way me go on, but he no find my grandpa. Then he and my ma gone, and then when they came roughly about 10 to 8 the night, me and my pa gone the police station and see where me go on.
According to police, on New Year's Day, Carlos Gomez and 2 other persons, including a Honduran national, went to the police station and reported that while socializing on a farm, there was a dispute with Caceres, after which the elderly man produced a pellet gun and fired a shot which caught Gomez in the stomach. According to the men, who were initially detained by police, they subdued the elderly man and tied him up on the farm. Since then, however, Caceres cannot be located.
Caceres got into a dispute with one of those persons, and he left towards his farm and returned with a pellet gun. And upon his return, he discharged the pellet gun in the direction of one of those persons, hitting him in the abdomen. As a result, a struggle ensued, and he was subdued by those persons and tied up, after which it is alleged that they then left the area and went to Benque Viejo police, where they made this report. Upon their arrival back at the farm, Mr. Caceres was not found. Since then, a team of police and family members have been conducting searches within the entire area, but he has not been seen or heard from since.
It's a hard pill to swallow for the family, as they do not believe that the elderly man would have picked a fight with 3 others. They had also discovered a bloody shirt belonging to Caceres on the property. Today makes 5 days since he was last seen alive.
Me, my pa, along with some police, got on the farm again about minutes to 9, and we make a big search till roughly about 1:30 the morning, and we don't find nothing, because then tie me grandpa, and then beat her, and tie her for his hand, for his leg, for his feet, and then tie her to a post in a Fidem farm. So we gone there, and all we find that me just a piece of rope for a hammock. One of the ends me let go, but that be just a little piece of a rope. To me, it don't make sense. Then say then tie for his hand, for his feet, and then to the post with just with a piece of rope. You know, even make that piece of rope probably would I just even give him, making him tie his hand and his foot. It don't make sense. To me, that story don't make sense.
And now your dad is saying that you guys found a bloody shirt that belonged to your grandfather?
Yes, that's right. We and police, when we got on the first night, we find a shirt from my grandpa with some blood on his bed.
But you can't find him still?
We can't find him still. We make a search the following day from 7 in the morning to 7:30 the night, and then right after that we have been going to the farm day to day to see where we can find. My grandpa, he don't know him. He's not educated, but he knows our way to the house. And then what we also might suspect, because police stated this, that probably he gone abroad, across Guatemala. But then he also knows some of our friends across, and then he might gone to their house and state that he's good, he's alive, but nothing. And then we also gone to Arenal because he was well known in Arenal and nobody has seen him there.
According to Mazin, the men with whom his grandfather reportedly had an altercation are known to the police.
Due to the background where these men have, I think they must do something to me. Grandpa.
3 persons, right?
The 3 persons, yes. The 2 from Benque and 1 Honduranian.
Is the family fearing the worst, that your grandfather was killed?
Well, we don't want to suspect that because we have faith that he's somewhere. Maybe those guys beat him up good, dash and away somewhere else, or it was probably that he did he's hiding somewhere in the bush and he's afraid, or I don't know, but we have the faith that he's somewhere.
Twin Moody for News 5.
The Correa family from the Santiago Juan area of San Ignacio is also looking for its patriarch, who's been missing since December 28th. Oscar Correa Sr. left home on that day to socialize with friends and has not returned to work or home since. He didn't carry a cell phone, so there is no means to get to him. But even so, his children and wife believe that something untoward has happened to him. While Correa Sr. is known to go drinking for up to 2 days, he would always make contact with the family. 8 days have now passed, and that still has not happened. Millie and Oscar Jr., along with friends, have been searching from San Ignacio up to the western border. A missing persons report has been lodged with authorities in neighboring Guatemala, but still no sign of Correa Sr. News 5 spoke with the siblings earlier today about the disappearance of their father.
He said he was tired, so he went home, he got a Coke, he ate, and then he went to my aunt's house, he came back, and then afterwards he gave some last words to my mom, and from there he went, and we have not seen him from there. We asked all his friends, we have went to the houses he went mostly, and nothing. I contact my friend and ask her to check at the hospital, at the station, just in case, you never know. And she's like, nothing. They say they don't know anything about him. We put it on the news over there and still nothing. No one tells us, okay, I saw him, nothing.
But I understand that he was last seen in Benque?
His last scene was reportedly in Benque with a friend, and from that we haven't heard anyone saying that they have seen him in town or in Benque side or any elsewhere of the Belize country. Definitely something would be wrong because any regular day we would be knowing that he is out there drinking, and he would come home and he would say, I've returned home, I want to take a shower, I'm going to take a rest. And we would always meet his friends and tell me that he's okay and come home and sort stuff. But from the past days and the past 2-3 days, we noticed that nothing, and we definitely something is wrong because he would never go away for 3-4 days and leaving no trace of him. Or he would always borrow a friend's phone or someone that he finds and contact my sister, myself, or my mother and says, I'm okay.
Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Oscar Correa Sr. is asked to contact the nearest police station or Crime Stoppers Belize at 922-TIPS. There is a disturbing story coming from the Orange Walk district to report tonight. The Cante family in San Felipe village is furious with the Belize Police Department after they were given the wrong body to bury. The family says that Fernando Cante died on Wednesday night and was taken to the Northern Regional Hospital morgue a few hours later. A COVID-19 test was done at their request. The result returned negative, but a second test was conducted to confirm the results. Those results were ready after the New Year holidays and confirmed Cante's negative status. So when his son Luis went to retrieve the body on Monday at the Northern Regional Hospital, he was surprised when he was handed the wrong body. Luis Cante says that when he opened the casket, he realized that the man inside was not his father. Lewis began to inquire about the location of his father's body, and he was told by police officers that they had mistakenly buried his father at a cemetery in Trial Farm Village.
When I reached there, I from far, I realized that that was not my dad. I told him, that's not my dad. Like, everybody knows their persons, right? Everybody knows their parents, even though they're dead. So I from far, I saw that it was not my dad. So I told him, this is not my dad. Yeah, he was Spanish. He was Spanish, and but he had other clothes, other things put on, because I am the one that took my dad there and my brother, and I know what he took, what he didn't took. So from I reached there, I saw that he has other stuff on. So I told him, that's not my dad, and I looked his face, but that was not. So they told me, well, the only body that's here is him. Is that body here? So I told him, that's not my dad. So where's my dad? And then they told me the guy told me that he was not in charge there by that time when they give, because he told me that the days before they give a body to the police. Because police asked for one body for make autopsy. So and they give one body to them. So and the guy told me, go and ask the police what is going on. So we went to the police, and then we started making a lot of moves there, so to find out what we want to talk to the doctor, and he said that he doesn't know what's going on. So the police, well, at last they came to give us the bad news that they by mistake they bury my dad by and they bury him by Trial Farm.
The family was taken to the burial site in Trial Farm and was told that they can either exhume the body or leave the body there. The family had already made preparations to properly lay Kante to rest.
My family decided it has passed like 4 days, because they told me it has like 4 days that they bury the body there and it's decomposing. So what my family told me to say is that, like, leave the body there, and well, there we will make something there for him to be memorialized, because we had everything prepared here in San Felipe. We made a lot of expenses and stuff, but so if they start moving, that will not be very good. Well, it's very sad and very I can say, like, it makes me angry, because, like, this doesn't have to be happening. Like, it's not our fault. It's like we are doing everything for my dad to have a place where he can rest in peace. And I don't know how they put him there. I don't know if they make something for him. It really makes me like, it's sad, really sad, and angry too.
After the break, is there a land hustle in the South and the West involving the former lands commissioner? Former Commissioner of Lands Wilbert Vallejos made headlines on Monday following a raid on his property in Pachacan, Corozal District. During the operation, officers assigned to the mobile interdiction team seized over 69,000 Belize dollars in cash, as well as assorted currencies in pesos and US dollars. While the Financial Intelligence Unit is investigating that matter, another allegation is being made against the embattled Vallejos. Andrea Chavarria Requena states that she was duped out of a property she purchased in Big Falls, Toledo District. According to the resident, she was led to believe that a land document, sans the official seal and stamp of the Ministry of Natural Resources, was an authentic title. That is, until she had a rude awakening that someone else had bought the same piece of land and she had to discontinue construction. Chavarria Requena told News 5 that she believes that the erstwhile Commissioner of Lands is aware of the dubious transaction.
I went to the lands office and I met Mr. Serrano, the landsman who was in PG. And I asked him about a land, but he said, we are here to help people. He said, this land is private. But I tell him, well, which one is available? And he told me, this one is available. So I tell him, how can I do it to start apply for the land when it's available? He told me you need to apply for a survey and then you get a sketch and then you take it to Belmopan or bring it here to PG. So my nephew tell me about a woman that help people to get things to Belmopan, to get papers, property papers or lease. So I said, well, I trust the person because she is my nephew neighbor. And I said, well, I will try it, I'll go ahead. So I start and I pay. And just before election, I give her, I don't want to call the amount that I give her, but I give her a good amount of money, saying that I will get, in 6 weeks' time, I will get my certificate.
No, title.
My title for the paper, for the land. So Thursday, which was the 31st of December, 11:30 a.m., Miss Amelia Johnson and Andy Johnson and a police officer, which name was Titus Param, they told me that we have to stop do what we are doing on this land, otherwise we're going to lose everything. But the police officer never did show me any property paper for Miss Amelia Johnson. But he wanted to see mine, so I take him home with a clean heart. I didn't know that my paper didn't have no stamp on it. So I show him the paper and I told him, this is what I have. So he went back and he told my husband and said, yes, your wife have a receipt, but she need to go and check at Belmopan what's wrong, because he doesn't have a stamp from the Belmopan office. So, well, then he told me, he said, you have to go and check. I said, well, I'll go and check. So I come to Cayo. That was yesterday, Monday, the 4th. And I went to San Ignacio Police Station, and I showed them the paper, and they tell me it's not a perfect paper. So they tell me you have to do so and so, and then, well, right after that, before the day over here, they cut the Commissioner of Lands. But I mean to say these nastiness that is taking place in lands have to stop.
When asked about the monies Chavarria Requena has invested in the purchase of the property, she says that she is expecting answers from the Lands Department regarding the unstamped documents.
The monies, obviously it's thousands of dollars that you've paid. Who got those monies? Because if there's no record...
Commissioner of Lands. Obviously, because if the person is working for a Commissioner of Land, they have to be the Commissioner of Land have it. So I don't know what they're going to do, but we need justice because too much illegal stuff is happening in the office, and they need to get from the bottom, from Punta Gorda to Belize City or to wherever the lands office is. And the point is, when I start to work on the land, is because the Commissioner of Land sent the same person to investigate the matter. Because when I saw a survey in the land, I called her right away. I said, something is going wrong here, let her know. And then she said she called the Commissioner of Lands, and then he told her that he sent her to PG to investigate the matter. And the girl in the lands office told her, yes, Miss Amelia is applying for a 2.5 acre, but not the 4.61 acre. So I want to know what's the problem. Because she said she owned it from 2013, but they never did show me any property paper, any documents that the police went there and stopped us. We had the sand and the cement already mixed up, ready to build the cement post.
Another woman, a relative of Chavarria Requena who lives in Santa Elena, also shared a recent experience with News 5 involving a similar land transaction, whereby a proxy who reportedly works on behalf of the lands department accepted money for a title. According to Carolyn Westby, she too got swindled out of a property that had for many years been leased by her late father.
I applied for my palan. It was a lease for many years. Well, growing up, my dad had that land, but he never had it in property. So, well, we live here this year will be 4 years, but I never really know this lady. She deal with land. That was just last year we found out that she helped people with land, and we thought she was real, right? She did a good job and thing, but well, it turned out that wasn't so. But so we got her to do she said she could help with the lease paper. She said all I need to take the my pass certificate, and then and then when she take that, she brought in some other papers for me to sign. So I just signed those papers, she take it in. Afterwards, she bring back maybe 2 or 3 weeks time, she bring the instrument paper. But I never know that needed a signature or a stamp. And that never was on it. No. So, well, she said that never needed that the instrument paper, that was legit, that was the real thing. So we believed her.
In that process, you've been paying monies and you still haven't gotten a title paper?
No title. I just got a paper written that he said I should have gone in. A request to go in land office for a little meeting, right? But somehow something came up. He wouldn't be in the office that day, the lady told me. So they rescheduled it. So that was it. I never did went in to see.
But by then you had already paid all your money.
I paid him some money, yes.
So what's the process now? You're finding out that the document that you have is not legit. You've already paid your monies. That meeting did not happen. What happened to your palan? What happened to the money that you've invested?
I don't know what to say. I know I want back my money. If that paper isn't real, I need back my money.
A state funeral in honor of Dr. Dame Anita Gordon, Belize's first Governor General, is being organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The public ceremony for the former head of state will observe strict rules of protocol and will also include much pomp and circumstance, as well as distinctive elements of military tradition. Dr. Gordon served as the vice-regal representative of the Queen of England from 1981 at the time of Belize's independence to her retirement in 1993. As we've reported, Dame Anita Gordon passed away on January 1st in Inglewood, California, at the age of 90. Occasionally, autopsies on bodies that are discovered in an advanced state of decomposition have been conducted at the Central American Health Sciences University along the Burrell Boom Road. Despite the infrequent use of its facilities and expertise, a working relationship between the National Forensic Science Services and CAHSU was never formalized. That was until Monday, with the approval of a Memorandum of Understanding between both entities. The MOU will ensure that the forensic post-mortem examinations for medical legal death investigations can continue in a way that is in line with the strategic priorities of the National Forensic Science Services, which is headed by Executive Director Jian Cho. When we come back, a COVID-19 outbreak at the Palm View Center.
In these
There is a COVID-19 outbreak at the Palmview Center in the capital. Late this evening, the Ministry of Health and Wellness issued a release confirming the unfortunate situation at the residential care facility in Belmopan. The mental health facility has 27 residents, of which 21 tested positive for the novel coronavirus on Monday. 7 staff members have also tested positive. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the outbreak is being addressed and the situation is being stabilized to ensure the well-being of the residents and staff at the institution. The release states that, quote, staff and residents who do not have serious symptoms are medically isolated but not hospitalized. Negative patients have been relocated to another building on the property, unquote. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is providing clear guidance for the facility in responding and controlling the spread of COVID-19. The country has recorded 10,938 cases of COVID-19. With more than 10,000 recovered patients, 587 remain active. The Corozal and Orange Walk districts continue to record the most number of new cases daily. This led to the Ministry of Health and Wellness restricting travel to and from the northern districts. The increasing numbers have affected several businesses and industries, including the sugar industry. Several persons have tested positive for the virus at BSI. The company says that it has acted decisively and quickly to conduct a risk assessment and contact tracing for all other employees possibly exposed to these individuals. Vice President of International Relations, Mac McLaughlin, explains how the pandemic has affected operations at the factory.
The key impact we've had from COVID has really been the number of employees who have been quarantined because they have been exposed one way or another to people who may or may not have COVID. But in general, we have adopted some very robust safety measures at the mill, and we have also provided support for farmers and for cutters as well to make the industry as safe as it can be. And we've followed a lot of the guidelines we're using in our facilities in other countries as well. So I think we're basically managing the best we can, as everybody else is under the circumstances. But it hasn't interrupted any of our operations. We believe that with the measures we have in place, we are offering the best safety we can. And obviously the sugar industry is an essential industry, listed as an essential industry, providing food security for Belize and obviously considerable employment in the north of the country. So, we are managing all those issues. We're looking forward to the end of this terrible thing and getting back to normal.
Coming up after the break, PAHO donates almost 100,000 rapid tests to Belize's COVID-19 efforts.
If we are only as strong as our families, business
The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, has donated 94,975 antigen tests with antigen controls and rapid diagnostic test analyzers. This is to increase the lab capacity efforts for COVID-19 testing in Belize. A release from PAHO earlier today states, quote, the importance of timely and accurate testing is crucial to the prevention, control, and management of COVID-19. Thus, the use of rapid antigen tests can beneficially contribute to enhancing the overall COVID-19 testing capacity in the country, unquote. An industrial fire erupted at Belize Sugar Industries Limited on New Year's Eve. A release from BSI says that the fire occurred at the Belcogen power plant. Milling was suspended for approximately 2 hours to ensure the safety of all employees while containing and extinguishing the fire. Fortunately, no one was injured and the fire was confined to one of the turbines where it originated. Given that there was no impact to the second turbine installed at the power plant, milling resumed after 7 p.m. Vice President of International Relations at ASR BSI, Mac McLaughlin, says that the BSI engineering team continues to work to dismantle the turbine and evaluate the full extent of damages.
The turbine fire, yes, that was the result of the poor production from the very beginning of that particular turbine. This is still the Chinese equipment that we sort of inherited at BSI, and through I believe it was that there was some internal issue with the turbine. I mean, thankfully it was noted early on, and the fire was extinguished quickly, and we're now going through the process of assessing damage and looking at where any replacements can be sought and how quickly we can put that online. But we're still in the process of assessing that at the moment. But it's not having a material impact on the grinding capacity.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at News 5 Live. I'm Marlene Cuellar. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.